It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning, this is City Beat. I'm Matthew Higgs, and joining me in studio is Mayor Dennis Fenske. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
If you have a phone, if you want to give us a call us here at 677-8181. The first thing, you actually brought something in to talk about the icy roads.
Yeah, well, actually, ice on the lakes and river. So we've got a safety share in regards to the city of Thompson. Would like to remind all residents of the unsafe ice conditions on all the rivers and lakes due to our warm weather. Up until today, the waterways have not had a chance to freeze properly. Ice conditions on the river are never safe for recreational activities. The accumulation of snow on the thin ice covering any standing water has created dangerous conditions where the ice will not freeze to its safe thickness to handle the weight of a person, snowmobile, or any other means of recreation. The city would like to warn all residents that the ice conditions on the Brentwood River are unsafe and no one should attempt any forms of recreation on there. Residents are cautioned to check the conditions before ice fishing as well. Through unsafe practices for some people during the ice rescue situation, they're placing fire and emergency services personnel at great risk, so please take care. We encourage all residents to enjoy their winter activities and remember to be safe around our lakes and rivers.
And I guess we can just transition to this, actually. I was going to save this for middle of the talk, but because it is cold outside and it's actually just starting to get cold, when's the outdoor rinks going to be open?
I've heard they're working hard at them. They should be, the process will speed up now with weather, but I think they're open next week. So the guys are working on them today and tomorrow, and hopefully by midweek next week they'll be available.
And when do they open usually?
Usually 10 a.m. to, I want to say 6 p.m. 9 p.m.
Okay. Now we get to the two meetings that were on this week. Let's start with the first one, the pre-budget consultation. What was brought up from the public?
Yeah, that was just a change up in the normal business that we do for budget. We wanted to have a pre-consultation, so we went over the 2016 budget on where the residential property taxes are spent by department, and we've also introduced a survey. We provided hard copies at that meeting. The online survey will be available tomorrow at thompson.ca. And we're asking people to comment there's a range of from not important to very important and everything in between in regards to the services provided by the City of Thompson. That information will provide us some input in regards to making the tough choices we have to do in regards to the budget. And we're asking all the surveys to be in. Either you can mail them into the City Hall or drop them off at the reception desk at the VRCC or City Hall. And or you can email them in as well. They're available online as well. Hard copies are available both at Thompson City Hall and the VRCC as well. And the deadline for submission is January 10th.
Yeah, you're talking about online, and when we were on Monday, it wasn't available online yet, but is it available now?
No, it should be available by end of day tomorrow, Friday.
End of day tomorrow. Some of the questions that were asked, actually, there was one question that led to an answer where you mentioning hub funding. What is it and why would it come to Thompson?
Well, basically the municipalities in Manitoba are funded by a base amount based on like a base cap amount, and then based on your population. So we have a population of 13,123, but throughout the province, you're thinking of Thompson, of Dauphin, of Brandon, Steinbach. These are hub centers where they support a region, and the costs are a little higher than the normal municipality. So we've lobbied AMM, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, to lobby the province on our behalf to look at a different formula for funding municipalities that would include hub services. So if Thompson was declared a hub service provider, then we may be able to get access to additional funds.
So this isn't a thing yet, but the hub centers want this.
Correct.
Right. And another thing that was mentioned was the BLT revenue. What was your concerns about that?
Well, basically, the formula is an unfair formula throughout the system in regards to where the revenues are generated. We traditionally generate a high revenue rate of revenue for VLTs to the province of Manitoba, and some communities don't have any VLTs, and yet they receive VLT funding. So it's an unfair situation for us. We continue to lobby year after year that the formula needs to be changed, that the funding should go back to where the revenue is generated.
And at the meeting, you also mentioned that a group has come forward and expressed interest in building 10 to 30 large acre lots here in the city limits. Tell us more about that development.
Basically, they're not looking at themselves building in the sense of they're looking for interest for the city to make land available, and so in acre or large acre plots of land. Currently, there are no available lots like southern Manitoba, where you could buy an acre or 2 acres or 5 acres to put a home on. We're looking at that possibility within city limits, and also working with the province to look within the LGD as well. We have an interested number of residents that would pursue that if it was made available. So that's the issue that was raised, and we would look probably within the next 6 months being able to work with the province and work with the groups that are interested to hopefully make those lands available.
I got to ask, though, where would these lots be placed?
Most cases right now within city limits, they would be north of the bridge in the golf course area, and outside of city limits in the LGD would probably be somewhere between here and Paint Lake.
And where does the city limits kind of like
The city limits proper, going south just past the Seal Road intersection on Mystery Lake Highway, that's the southern limit, and then going north on Highway 6 where the horse stables are, that's the city limit line, and on the other side, on the golf course side, the golf course is in city limits, but beyond the golf course, that's LGD.
The other meeting was the water treatment plant open house, which explained the process the city and valley will go through during the transfer process of the WTP. Now, not many people were there, I guess. But what is the quick recap of what's going to take place for that? So
basically that presentation was done by Valet on Monday at Council by Don Wood, manager of surface plants. And so we repeated that presentation from the city's perspective at that open house. It wasn't overly well attended, but in the same sense, the information is available online, the presentation that we made. And it's just confirms the process and the timing and the scheduling of transferring the asset of the water treatment plant from Valet, currently owned and operated, to the city of Thompson. It's a 3-year process of 2017, 18, and 19, where in the first year, Valet employees will run and operate the facility with city employees shadowing and learning the ropes. In the second year, the City of Thompson employees will take the seats, and Valet employees will reverse and be the shadowing. And in the third year, 2019, the City of Thompson will own and operate the facility completely.
And that process starts next year, right?
Correct, 2017.
Right. So I was looking through all the committee meetings today, and there was one that looks like you've been invited to a mayor's forum in Cusco, Peru. So my question is, are you going there?
It's certainly on the resolutions for Monday's council meeting. This stems from, the City of Thompson hosted a delegation from Peru and Colombia through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities CISL project, where they try to bring together cities and communities from other areas in the world to compare relationships with the communities, municipalities, with industrial companies, and with Indigenous or First Nations. And so it was a really good setup here in regards to the Peruvians and Colombians. Really enjoyed, they visited Kenora, they visited Red Lake, they visited a town in Saskatchewan and Thompson as well. And so they're returning, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities are returning, and they're hosting a mayor's conference in Peru. The mayor of Sudbury has been invited, and I've been invited as well. So this will come before council on Monday evening.
Okay, so yeah, you guys will be discussing about it on Monday, and I guess that's when you guys will confirm?
Correct.
Confirm. A question that people would probably be asking is, how much do you think it would cost?
For the city, it costs zero. This is funded by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and from my perspective, it's personal vacation time that I would have to book. But so the cost of the City of Thompson ratepayers is zero.
Well, you should invite me then. We should go to Peru. I think Peru would be fun. There's also another committee meeting, Recreation Committee meeting, which will be on the 13th, which is on the agenda right now, stating Canada's 150 community infrastructure program application declined. What is that all about?
We'd applied to Canada 150 for a grant to work with the Norplex pool review and retrofit. That application was denied. We'll submit further applications as we go through and celebrate Canada 150 in 2017.
Okay, and next week is the last council meeting for 2016. What's on the agenda?
A bunch of resolutions in regards to, this is year end, so there's a lot of cleanup stuff that we have to do. There's a bylaw going forward. We have a public works report, and that agenda will be available and finalized by 4 o'clock tomorrow. Will be available on thompson.ca as well, and encourage everyone to come out Monday at 7 o'clock, City Hall. It's the last one of the year, and that's it for the council meetings.
And I gotta say, what was your favorite moment of council in 2016?
Well, I think for me it was when we brought forth the Truth and Reconciliation resolutions. We brought forth three resolutions, and they were passed unanimously by the councillors in attendance. It was a major step forward in regards to the Year of Truth and Reconciliation and the 94 recommendations that came out for all Canadians, governments, organizations, and individuals, and we reviewed them, and the ones that were pertained to the municipality, we adopted them, and so it sends a strong, clear message of inclusion and standing up and carrying on with the recommendations within the Truth and Reconciliation document.
Well, that is nice, but I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed it wasn't when you first met me in June or July.
We all have our crosses to bear.
Everyone's laughing in the room right now. Everyone's making fun of me. That's it for this edition of City Beat. Thanks, Mayor, for coming in. Make sure to join us every Thursday at 11:30 to find out what's happening around the city and City Hall. Maybe the mayor might roast me again. For 1029 CHTM, I'm Matthew Higgs.